Recently, Prince William made headlines for an unprecedented move, blocking Queen Camilla.
Royal tensions have hit a new high, and this time Prince William isn't staying quiet. In a move that surprised even close palace staff, he's reportedly taken Queen Camilla's name off the charity awards linked to his late mother, Princess Diana. Was it quiet resistance or a strong stand in Diana's memory? Behind the polished royal appearances, a deeper divide is becoming harder to hide. What led to such a bold decision? And what could it mean for the future of the monarchy? It all ties back to something that shook the royal family to its core: the BBC interview scandal. It was June 2021, and suddenly all eyes turned to Buckingham Palace. Something big had just surfaced, something that brought back painful memories. An investigation led by Lord Dyson had just wrapped up, and its findings were shocking. It confirmed that the famous 1995 Panorama interview with Princess Diana hadn't been obtained honestly. Instead, BBC journalists had used fake documents and lies to convince her to speak. That interview had become iconic, but now the truth behind it had come out, and it hit hard. Not long after the report was released, Prince William stepped outside Kensington Palace and spoke publicly. You could see it on his face. He looked heartbroken, upset, and deeply moved. His voice stayed calm, but there was clear emotion under every word. He said the BBC had done the right thing by accepting the findings. Then he added, "BBC employees lied and used fake documents to get the interview with my mother." His tone was steady but heavy, and people listened. Not just in the UK, his words echoed across the world. For William, this wasn't just about journalism or a scandal. It was deeply personal. Losing his mother had always left a hole, and now he had to relive one of the hardest moments in her life. He spoke about how much Diana had been hurt, not just by media pressure, but by the betrayal behind the scenes. Those lies didn't just affect her. They left a lasting mark on the whole family. As soon as William spoke, the headlines lit up. People everywhere started remembering Diana again, her warmth, her struggles, her tragic end, and how badly she'd been treated, especially near the end. But William wasn't just pointing fingers. He was making a promise. He wouldn't let anyone damage his mother's legacy again. And William wasn't only talking to the BBC. Between the lines, you could feel years of bottled-up hurt and frustration over how Diana's story had been told, often unfairly, sometimes without care. Normally, the royal family avoids emotional public statements. They keep things neat and guarded. But this time was different. Even Queen Elizabeth was said to be unsettled by what the investigation uncovered. Prince Charles, on the other hand, stayed silent, maybe because he knew just how layered this story was. As days passed, the conversation kept going. News programs, papers, online threads, everyone was asking questions. William's reaction to the Lord Dyson report showed one thing clearly. The pain from Diana's past is still very real inside the royal family. After all these years, her story still feels unfinished. Her legacy was still being quietly defended. Through the rest of 2021 and into 2024, Prince William began making steady moves to protect his mother's memory. He got more involved with the Diana Award, a charity that celebrates young people doing meaningful humanitarian work, something deeply connected to Diana's values. But this wasn't just another royal duty for William. It was personal. He wanted to make sure people remembered his mother for who she truly was: kind, brave, and full of heart. As the next Diana Awards ceremony approached, planning began inside palace walls. Usually, these kinds of royal events stick to routine. But this time, there was a shift. William paid extra attention to every detail, especially when it came to who would attend. He wanted this event to be a true reflection of Diana's life and spirit, and that meant protecting the tone and focus of the day, keeping anything that might distract or overshadow her memory far away. As planning went on, one name started popping up more often: Camilla, Duchess of Cornwall. Her connection to Diana had always been complicated. Their history carried years of pain and emotional strain. For William and Harry, it wasn't just about royal titles or duties, it was something they had lived through growing up. Even though Camilla had become a well-established figure in the family, her past with Diana still carried weight. And for William, that history still mattered. As the event drew nearer, William's focus sharpened. He wanted the day to be only about his mother. Behind closed doors, people began noticing changes. Guest lists were quietly updated. Seating plans were shifted. Even a few long-held traditions were put aside without much notice. Slowly, it became clear that Camilla might not be invited at all. That kind of choice would be major. It would go against usual royal customs and could shake up family dynamics in a big way. But William didn't seem afraid to take that step. He was standing firm for Diana. The pressure grew by the day. Would it be right for Camilla to attend an event that was meant to honor Diana's legacy? Was William really going to draw that line? And if he did, how far would the impact go? The questions hung in the air as the day approached. Let's take a closer look at the Diana Award and what it means to William. To him, it's more than just a formal ceremony. It's not about photos or headlines. It's a heartfelt tribute to his late mother, Princess Diana. The award was created in 1999, just 2 years after she passed away. Since then, it's become one of the most respected recognitions for youth across the UK and beyond. The goal of the Diana Award is simple but powerful: to celebrate young people who reflect the values Diana stood for: kindness, empathy, and a drive to help others. Every year, when the event takes place, it draws attention from all corners, not just from Diana's admirers, but from young changemakers around the world who hope their efforts will be seen. These youth are recognized for things like standing up to bullying, helping classmates, protecting nature, and promoting mental health support. Over the years, the Diana Award has grown into something much bigger, drawing attention from global leaders, major charities, and the public. But for Prince William, it's never been just another duty on the royal calendar. It's personal. It's his way of keeping his mother's memory alive in a way that feels real. People who work closely with him say he doesn't just attend. He truly puts his heart into it. He reads through every nominee's background, learns their stories, and really takes in the kindness and strength they've shown, just like Diana used to do when meeting people who needed support. In the months leading up to the December 2024 Diana Awards, there was a quiet but steady buzz around Kensington Palace. William and his team were spending long hours reviewing every nominee. Palace insiders say he was especially touched by the stories this year, young people who reminded him so much of his mother's spirit. To him, these weren't just award winners. They were proof that Diana's compassion was still making a difference in the world. But there was something else that made this year's event even more emotional for William. New information had come out about how the BBC had tricked Diana into doing that famous interview back in the 90s. Old wounds were reopened, and it hit William hard. It only deepened his resolve to protect her memory. He felt a stronger responsibility than ever to make sure the event honored her properly, without anything clouding her legacy. That's why William paid even closer attention to the planning this time, especially the guest list. In past years, invitations had gone out across the royal family, keeping up the image of unity around Diana's legacy. Even Camilla, now widely accepted in royal circles, had attended quietly and respectfully. Her presence was always low-key, given her past with Diana. But in 2024, something shifted. According to palace insiders, there was real hesitation about inviting Camilla. William personally went over every guest list, line by line. It became clear that he was being very careful, trying to make sure nothing would take away from the event's meaning or stir up any emotional tension. The BBC revelations had reminded everyone how painful Diana's story still was for William. And while Camilla had gained public respect over time, her connection to that pain hadn't been forgotten. For William, this wasn't about following tradition or managing public image. It was about doing what felt right. He wanted to protect the integrity of the event, and most of all, his mother's memory. By November 2024, quiet rumors began to spread. Camilla might not attend this year. The palace didn't confirm anything, but behind closed doors there were tough conversations. William, though always respectful, stood his ground. He wanted the ceremony to be fully centered on Diana, her values, and the young people who were living them out. Choosing not to include Camilla was a major decision, one that had never been made before. But for William, it wasn't about stirring conflict. It was about staying true to the meaning of the award. Staff made quiet changes to the seating plan, the guest protocol, and the formal setup of the event to reflect this shift. It was becoming clear that William was entering a new chapter in his leadership. He was less focused on royal tradition and more committed to emotional honesty and protecting what mattered to him. As the 25th annual Diana Award ceremony drew near, the media and royal watchers waited, curious to see how things would unfold. So, would Camilla's absence be made official? Would this mark a turning point in how royal events are handled going forward? Or was there still time for a quiet compromise behind the scenes? Let's look at the deeper story, one that reaches back decades, between Camilla, Princess Diana, and the emotional weight behind Prince William's decision. The history between Camilla Parker Bowles and Princess Diana isn't just about two women in the public eye. It's a story that shook the foundations of the royal family and left a lasting mark on Prince William's life. Their lives were tangled in a web of love, betrayal, and heartache, one that not only changed how the monarchy was seen, but also left emotional scars that still shape royal choices to this day. Before Diana ever came into the picture, there was Camilla. Prince Charles met her in the early 1970s, and the two quickly became close. Their bond wasn't just friendly, it was romantic, but when Charles went off to serve in the Navy, their relationship was paused. During that time, Camilla married Andrew Parker Bowles in 1973. Life moved on, but the connection between Charles and Camilla quietly stayed alive, tucked away from public view. When Lady Diana Spencer married Prince Charles in 1981, she believed she was stepping into a dream. To the public, it looked like a perfect royal romance, a young, graceful princess marrying the future king. But behind the palace walls, things were very different. Diana slowly came to understand that her husband's heart wasn't fully hers. Camilla was still in the picture, quietly but powerfully. By the mid-1980s, the cracks in Diana and Charles's marriage were becoming hard to ignore. The royal family kept up appearances, trying to protect the image of unity. But behind closed doors, Diana was hurting. She could feel that Camilla was still part of Charles's life, and the weight of that knowledge became harder to bear. She did her best to remain strong, but the emotional toll was heavy and ongoing. Then came a pivotal moment in 1989. At a birthday party hosted by Camilla's sister, Annabelle Elliott, Diana made an unexpected appearance. That night, something changed. Diana took a brave step. She confronted Camilla face to face. With her bodyguard, Ken Worf, nearby, Diana pulled Camilla aside and told her calmly but firmly, "Please don't treat me like an idiot. I know what's going on." Camilla's response was cool, almost dismissive. "You have two wonderful boys." It was a moment that left Diana feeling even more isolated, but also more honest than ever before. Through the early 1990s, Diana carried the weight of that pain. She was trapped in a marriage where love didn't feel complete, and the emotional burden didn't let up. By 1992, the truth could no longer be hidden. Charles and Diana officially separated. The royal family tried to manage the situation quietly, keeping a firm grip on public perception. But inside those palace walls, the emotional damage was clear and lasting. The fallout didn't just impact Diana, it left deep marks on her sons, William and Harry. In 1995, Diana decided she couldn't stay quiet anymore. In her now famous interview with BBC's Panorama, she spoke openly about the painful truth of her marriage. The world was stunned when she said, "There were 3 of us in this marriage, so it was a bit crowded." That one sentence said it all. It showed just how much she had suffered and cast Camilla as the 3rd person in a story that was supposed to be about a prince and his princess. For young Prince William, just 13 at the time, seeing his mother that sad and vulnerable on national TV was crushing. It wasn't just the headlines or public reaction. It was the helplessness of watching the person he loved most fall apart. That moment left a deep emotional scar. From then on, William became fiercely protective of his mother's legacy. He made an unspoken vow to never let her story fade and never let her be disrespected. Then came August 1997. In a tragedy that shocked the world, Princess Diana was killed in a car crash in Paris. William was only 15. Losing his mother so suddenly, in such a heartbreaking way, changed him forever. The pain of that loss, combined with the relentless media attention, left a mark that shaped his views on trust, love, and family for the rest of his life. Years later, in 2005, Prince Charles married Camilla. Slowly, the public began to accept her role in the royal family. But for William, it wasn't that simple. Outwardly, he was polite and respectful. But inwardly, the hurt still lingered. He had seen his mother's tears. He had felt her pain, and he hadn't forgotten who played a part in causing it. Accepting Camilla wasn't just about royal duty. It was about navigating the space between memory and healing. As the December 2024 Diana Awards approached, William had grown, older, more experienced, and more sure of himself. But the emotional wounds from his mother's past still hadn't fully healed. The renewed attention on how Diana had been manipulated into the Panorama interview stirred up those old feelings again. It reignited William's instinct to protect her memory more fiercely than ever. From William's perspective, having Camilla attend the 25th anniversary of an award created in Diana's honor could take attention away from what really mattered. It could bring back pain, not just in the public eye, but within his own heart. That's why every detail of the guest list mattered. His decisions weren't just about protocol, they were about keeping the event emotionally clear and focused on healing. As the ceremony drew closer, William's resolve only strengthened. He understood that this wasn't just about whether someone sat in the audience. It was symbolic. This one choice had the power to shift his relationship with other senior royals and to draw a clear line around what Diana's legacy truly meant to him. Those around him could feel it, his quiet but steady conviction. William had already made up his mind. To him, the Diana Award represented something pure, meaningful, and above politics. Honoring his mother meant keeping that space free from distraction. No matter the pressures or expectations, he was determined that nothing and no one would take the focus away from her memory. But would Prince William actually confirm that Camilla wasn't invited? And if so, how would the palace respond to such a rare and emotionally charged move? Let's take a closer look at the Diana Awards' 25th anniversary ceremony and what Camilla's absence really meant. As the 25th annual Diana Awards ceremony arrived, there was a buzz of anticipation. Journalists, royal followers, and the public waited eagerly, not just to see the young people being honored, but to catch any signs of what was quietly unfolding within the royal family. Prince William, after months of planning, had made sure every part of the event honored his mother's memory with care and respect. But beyond the speeches, the smiles, and the formal greetings, there was a quiet undercurrent running through the room, one that didn't go unnoticed. William's planning had been thoughtful and precise. The photos of Diana, personally chosen by him, added a personal touch to the space. Each image captured her warmth, her compassion, and her unwavering commitment to helping others. From how the young honorees were seated to the heartfelt video tributes, every detail reflected Diana's lasting influence. Still, what caught the most attention wasn't who was present, it was who wasn't. As guests arrived, royal family members were warmly welcomed by event staff. William and Catherine, the Princess of Wales, appeared composed but deeply genuine as they met and spoke with the award recipients. Prince Harry, unable to attend due to personal obligations, sent a warm message of support. King Charles was also present, quietly observing the event with respect, knowing the emotional weight it carried. But one person was noticeably absent: Camilla, the Duchess of Cornwall. Her non-attendance quickly sparked conversation among media and guests alike. For those who knew the inner workings of William's preparations, it was obvious this wasn't an oversight. Camilla's absence had been a deliberate decision, quietly made by William himself. Though he never addressed it publicly, his choice not to invite Camilla sent a clear and personal message. It wasn't about drama, it was about boundaries. For William, some things were too close to the heart, and his mother's memory was one of them. Keeping the event focused on Diana without emotional distractions was his way of protecting that space. The palace didn't comment. Officials kept the focus on the achievements of the young award winners, staying silent about Camilla's absence. But the quiet from Buckingham Palace only raised more questions. Behind the scenes, sources close to the royals admitted the decision had stirred some discomfort. Throughout the ceremony, William was warm and genuine with the young award winners, recognizing their bravery, kindness, and leadership. In his speech, he spoke from the heart about his mother, her compassion, her strength, and her lifelong mission to bring positive change. His message reached far beyond the room. It touched the hearts of people watching all over the world. It was a powerful reminder that Diana's values, so deeply tied to who William is, would continue to guide him as he looks toward the future of the monarchy. His tribute wasn't just about memory, it was about direction. After the event, media outlets picked apart every detail of William's tribute. While many praised his honesty and emotional depth, Camilla's absence remained a topic of discussion. In the weeks that followed, royal experts debated what it all meant. Buckingham Palace said nothing publicly. But behind the scenes, it was clear the moment had sparked serious reflection. Camilla, for her part, respected William's decision. She seemed to understand that some emotional wounds need time and space to heal. King Charles walked a delicate line, supporting his son while also acknowledging Camilla's place in the family. Meanwhile, the Diana Award continued to grow in influence throughout 2024, driven by William's deep personal connection to its mission. Young people being honored often said they were moved by his actions, proof that he meant every word. By the time 2025 arrived, it was becoming clear. William's way of leading was shifting the public's view of the monarchy. He showed that emotional honesty didn't have to clash with tradition. It could exist right alongside it, creating a future that felt both respectful and real. What do you think about Prince William's bold choice during the Diana Awards? Let us know in the comments. And if this story moved you, don't forget to like, share, and subscribe for more heartfelt updates from the royal world. Thanks for the journey through this story. Let me know if you'd like a full compiled version or anything else.